Welcome, everybody, to Collecting Profit. My name is Anthony. With me, as always, got Michael over here at Huddle Card Collection.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, not a whole lot, man. How was your week? Was it eventful?
So far, my week has been, rather quiet, which is a good
Yeah.
thing. Um, overall, um, not too busy, work wise or anything. Had a little fire stoke itself on Monday, but put it out today. So
Hmm.
we're all good, Brian. We're all good. How about you?
And I feel like Monday was one of those days because I feel like I had a major case of the Mondays too. Like my client was major cuckoo bird the entire day, and it just like ruined my day like big time, man. Just like to the point where I was just like done with Monday. And then Tuesday came around and I was just like never so happy to see a Tuesday. So, hey Alan, good to see you, brother.
Hey,
Good to
Alan,
see
what's
you.
going on? Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Mine was weird because all of a sudden, I got a telephone call Monday morning. One of our sites, one of the people's like, "Hey, do you know that they're going ahead and they shut the power off to one of our buildings and they're starting construction?" I was like, "No, not at all. But that's a problem
hmm,
because your IT equipment's not going to work." Yeah, that's
yeah,
an issue.
sure.
So,
It sucks.
but hey, it's all good. Made up for it. I mean, I had a fairly, decent weekend with card sales. I mean, for me, not I'm not
Yeah.
again, with the I don't list as much as I want to and stuff like that. I mean, I get on a roll. I do a whole bunch and everything,
Mhm.
but I probably had I don't know, like maybe 15, 20 over the weekend. Had a
Nice.
couple Monday, couple yesterday, couple today. So, um,
Nice.
it's steady stuff. Steady stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's really what I'm trying to do is build up my skill too. With going away to like Hawaii and the cruise last month, like that like destroyed like the momentum that my store had built because there
Yeah.
was literally like no activity for like 3 solid weeks.
Yeah.
I was gone for two and then I was like sick for like the first week I was back. I'm still not fully over it. Um, what's up, Sean? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you being here.
Hey, Sean, Jedi Master. Yeah. So
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, from that standpoint, well, you'll get there. I mean, once you get to listen a little more, I mean, because the truth
Oh yeah.
is, and anybody who's watching, you know, I'm the exact same way. I was on the road for a certain amount of days every week for like 5 weeks in a row and stuff like that. And you suffer and stuff. But then,
Yeah.
you know, if you can get back and list, a few every single day, a few every single day, and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving, then all of a sudden you see those impression numbers and all that kind of stuff go from red to green. And it's like, yes,
Yeah.
I might make a sale. I'm in the green now.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Orlando, how you
Um,
doing, buddy?
yeah, I mean, with even like the lack of like momentum I've had, like I'm nearing 5,000. Like my goal is to be by like the time we go live next week on your channel, I want to have 5,000 listings in my eBay store. Like I'm at like 48, 88 or something like stupid like that. Um, just basically all day-to-day processed cards. Bunch of football stuff, bunch of basketball stuff. It's like to the point where like I can't fit any more into like my basketball 4 rows at all. It's like jam packed.
That's
Um,
good.
so that should keep me busy for at least the next week as far as like what I'm doing listings wise. Now, once I actually get to the point of the scanner, the software, and stuff like that, basically what I do in a week, I expect to like double or triple in a day. So at that point,
Yeah.
it's going to be more about sourcing than it is listing
Yep.
because most of the listings will be done for me outside of, just keeping up with like the basic logistics to make sure it's right, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Matty Ice, what
Matty
up?
Ice, how's it going? Yeah, Alan, yeah, man. Well, Alan, yeah, those Harper cards that you posted in Discord. I mean, yeah, very, very nice, my friend. Very, very nice. stuff like that. And that's, I mean, but the guy I like to collect, I mean, there are expensive cards, but there are no cards in that. And there might be, but I haven't seen any of those, those upper, high dollar cards, for me, which is fine and everything, but yeah, but I was going through, I got my next stack right here that I had, that I've had in top load and stuff like that, that I have to go through. I'm just, and yeah, man, Alan, those cards remarkable. Um,
Yep.
and I'm just trying to figure out, so I start to get away from baseball and now start to try and do more basketball, more football, because the football is the hard one. Um, I'm sorry, I mean the basketball is the hard one because I don't really have a lot of basketball. I don't have a lot of current basketball. Now, I have, some not not 80s, 90s, but I have, maybe like early 2000s, basketball and stuff like that, which, uh, I was looking at some of those. I think I'm going to maybe start grabbing some of those Hall of Famers and, that I have in that
Yeah.
collection, start throwing, not in that connection, those boxes, not throwing those up. But that's the part to navigate, right? How much do you, how much do you list across the board in sports, or do I just, hey, I'm going to do this, I don't know what you use for yours, but that's a lot of times my hardest thing is, from that standpoint, you don't wanna miss something, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly, like as far as being pinpointed to like what I'm listing, I'm a lot less strategic than I used to be. It used to be like, oh, this player's hot, I'm gonna list all of his cards, and that player's hot, I'm gonna pull his and list all of them. But ever since you basically told me about how you do by set and then you just change the number, it is so much freaking easier.
Yep.
Like literally, I can buzz through. Like, say I just did WWE Prism 2023, just go through and just change the number or change the wrestler name, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. I'm
Mhm.
listing cards at a much faster pace that way. So lately, I've basically just been doing it by the set, or honestly, whatever I had like available in my Google Drive. Like the past few weeks, I've been listing baseball, which has been like bad, but I just had a ton of it in my Google Drive to work through.
Yeah. Yeah, and baseball, I mean, I've had some, I mean, I've had I mean, I just sold just before we went live, maybe 20 minutes before, we went, I had a Blaze Jordan, Mojo, baseball card sell. You know what I'm saying? And, and earlier today, it was 3 football cards,
Like I
you
Paul's
know?
in the house. What is going on, brother? Good to see you, man.
What's
Always a
up?
pleasure.
You know what I'm saying from that standpoint? So, I don't know, like we've always said, the truth is for us in the area that we list and sell in, it's
Mhm.
really about just getting them on that, getting them up and getting them out, getting them up and getting them out, and as
Yep,
quick as you can, get them up.
that's
When they
exactly
sell,
it.
get them out, and just get that, just get that rolling, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you sell 5, try and list 10 more. You sell 10, so on and so
Yep,
forth. But it's still, you know, the software, the software thing's the hard thing for me. It's not that I don't want to, do it and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, I just I just don't know why I haven't. I guess, it's stupid. There's no reason for it. I already have the damn scanner. So it's not like, I'm halfway there. Um, I don't know.
yeah.
I just the one thing I wish, and I don't know I mean, you'd have to get a different scanner. I think if you have to get that. So there's people talk about like slab scanners, which is kind of like it's like an arm,
Mhm.
and it does that,
I've used those
um,
before. They're pretty cool.
because the
They
one
like
thing,
they'll like look over a mat and like just scan the whole thing like really fast. It's pretty cool.
yeah, and it automatically does the cropping and everything like that,
Yep.
and I mean, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about one of those because I do have a lot of Chrome cards, and although I do sell the Chrome cards, on eBay, the ones that I scan, it just does, I mean, it doesn't look as crisp as the other
Mhm.
way. And, you know, once you get the scanner, you get friggin' what do you call it? You get comfortable with it, and you're sitting there
Yeah.
and you're going, "Hey, man, I'm just gonna scan them because I'm gonna run through them that much quicker than if I sit there with my phone." So,
Have you noticed anything now that you've been listing like a large amount of like low end sports cards? Have you noticed like who are some of like the big bulk sellers are on eBay? Like as far as like the low end stuff goes?
have I noticed them?
Yeah, like who like some of like the common I do sell similar whenever I list. So like whenever I'm listing stuff, time after time, I'm like, oh damn, that's Burbank again. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So if it's like Burbank, I'm like, cool, that's a good comp. I can go ahead and just
Yep.
whatever Burbank's selling it at, boom. Or I've been noticing like ComC has a ton of like low end stuff. Now, obviously, they both sell the full spectrum. Like you can
Right.
go into their stores or any ComC website and find six-figure cards.
Yeah.
Um, but by the same point, if you look on eBay, some of these like huge hobby businesses
Mhm.
are like basically like conglomerates as far
Yeah.
as like who's selling a lot of this low end stuff.
So what I
A lot-
what I usually do is when I'm gonna sell, so, whatever it may be, I mean, if I'm picking a set to sell, let's say I was gonna do, I don't know, like the last set that I did do. Well, let's hit this first before we go ahead and go into that.
Sure. So the slab scanner does not. You have to flip it, and then it'll do it again.
Yeah.
It's still very fast. Now they do have like a Fujitsu scanner, and what was the other brand, Michael, that you have?
Epson, I have the Epson.
Epson.
Yeah.
And either one of those, you can actually feed the cards through. You drop it, and it'll automatically scan both sides and crop them,
Yep.
save them to a folder for you, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like
So
I do mine, and what's good about like mine, like I do all mine in a penny sleeve just because I don't want
mhm,
to take a chance of, you know, something. So I do all mine in a penny sleeve and I have no problem whatsoever. I drop them in. I do about 8 or 10 cards at a time.
mhm,
Um, from that standpoint. Um, yeah, and I mean, they all just go in and stuff like that. And if there's a problem, you see it right on the screen. If
yeah,
two cards happen to go in too fast to each other and it comes through as one scan rather than two separate ones, and then you just delete them from the software. Then I just save them and then I just go. But to get back to but the, what winds up happening is when you use the scanner, when you use a, say, a photo scanner or a drop-in scanner like that, the problem you have is with the Chrome card, because it's like a mirror looking back at it, it makes it darker,
mhm,
than what it is. Now on Mosaic, cracked ice, those type of cards, I mean, it makes it look, Mojos, it makes it look awesome, you know, uh, from that standpoint. But I mean, you know, um, that's, like I said, that's where the scanner part is, kind of, tough to use with the Chrome cards if you're using the drop-in scanner. If you're using, like I said, that photo one where you lay it on the mat and you hit the button and it scans, you flip it over, you hit scans. Yeah, I'm sure that would look a lot better.
yeah. That's a nice touch, Alan.
It is.
I always really love when somebody sends me a card like presented nicely. The worst thing ever is like whenever you get a card, it's not in a penny sleeve within the top loader, and then top loader
Oh,
looks like it just smoked about 5 packs of cigarettes because it's so yellow, and then it's cracked or whatever, and then on top of it, there's Scotch tape on it.
yeah.
That's just like the unholy trifecta.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a nice touch. Paul asked what is new or excuse me, what's hot in non-sports cards. My opinion, Marvel's always hot.
Yep.
Star Wars is always hot. Stranger Things is somewhat hot in some in some circles. I don't know a whole lot about Stranger Things, so I can't really speak to it. One thing that's really hot, just in general, is Leaf Pop Century, because it has like all of the actors and stuff like that. I know most recently they had like Clint Eastwood in their set, and like they're putting some like really good chase autos in there now. What's up, Craig? Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Craig, what's happening? I think
Hey,
Star Wars is usually always people always looking for cool Star Wars cards and stuff, stuff like that. Um, you know, uh, Garbage Pail, certain Garbage Pail ones are hot, so it's it's kind of off the wall. Blaze, what's happening,
what's up,
brother?
brother?
How you doing?
Craig
Happy
Craig
Thanksgiving
jokes
to you
about
too, sir.
he jokes about shipping his stuff in pizza boxes, but a friend of ours that all three of us are friends with, I'm not going to blow his spot up here, but has actually shipped me something in a uh, cereal box before,
Oh my
and I'm
gosh.
like, yeah, no wonder he got crushed.
Yeah. Yeah, Marvel, yep. Blaze was happening, yeah. Marvel Universe, yeah. A bunch of night, yeah. So it's to me, what's up, Dommy? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, dog.
Um,
See you, brother.
it comes, it goes. I mean, it all depends on what's happening, you know, uh, and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think, when you get into, like I said, it definitely is all about being consistent. And mine is weird, I'll sell a bunch, in that $2 range, and all of a sudden, I'll pop like a $10 to $12 card. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll do a bunch more in that $2 range, and all of a sudden, I'll pop something, $8, $10 and stuff like that. So
You know
um
what's weird? Mine are always like $1 to $8, and then it's like, boom, you just sold a $500 card, or boom, you just sold a $200 card, or boom, you just sold a $700 card. It's so weird. I get like, wow, I've made $41 this week, and then
yeah,
it's like in the next two sales, it's like I just made my entire week
there you
just
go.
with like selling slabs. So I don't know if it's drives the algorithm or what it is, but like the low end stuff isn't even necessarily what's like kind of carrying me through. It's just kind of what's steady and constantly flowing through my store.
Hey, Lockin, how you doing?
Hey, Lockin.
So hey, before we go any further, guys, go ahead and do yourself a favor. Get out a piece of paper right now and a pencil or a pen or a Sharpie or I don't, whatever, and write this down. December 17th, 5 p.m., right on this channel.
What? Something's happened here.
It's going to be the first card auction and giveaways. Your collecting profit team. We're going to have a sale. 5 o'clock. We're going to start at 5 o'clock on Sunday, the 17th. And we're going to go for as long as people want us on there. And we'll
Yep.
have everything. We'll
We
have
have
baseball,
a
football, basketball. We'll have hockey. We'll have
non-sports
wrestling.
TCG.
Yep. TCG. What else we gonna have? We're gonna have
We
I
might
mean
have cards of me in speedos,
it
or not
could, yeah.
speedos, but
Anything
speedos,
is
singlets.
possible.
Sorry, those are the cards for my OnlyFans page, not my YouTube channel. I don't know where the hell I'm thinking speedos.
I forgot. Use crayons. I forgot. Thanks, Blaze. I forgot to say you can use a crayon. I mean, if you're really, really, struggling right now for to find a utensil, I don't know, maybe bite a cuticle and bleed a little. I mean, I don't know, something. But yeah, we're gonna be on. We're gonna be on at 5 o'clock, and we're gonna
Yep.
just gonna, I mean, we've been putting stuff on the side already. We got plenty of time to do it. So come on. We're gonna have giveaways. We're gonna have good stuff. Like I said, and it's gonna be new stuff. Gate City, Paulie.
Paul's in the house. What's up, my man? Yeah, we're early today. We had to have it a little early for our guest, which unfortunately he may or may not show up.
What's up,
Most of
Jason?
you guys might have heard the news, but he's had a rougher week than me and Michael this past week. But
Combined.
I first heard of it from AIH Sports. Not sure if you guys follow AIH. We had him on the channel. I don't know, maybe like a month and a half ago, something like that.
Yep.
But there's been a lot of speculation around Rob the sports card therapist, which I don't want to say anything negative about Rob. My only interactions with him have really been through Instagram, and he's always been super nice. Whenever we reached out to him to ask him to come on the show tonight, he was, very open to collaboration and coming on. And Michael and I were both really looking forward to picking his brain because he had the number 2 overall podcast in the hobby.
Yeah.
So, I mean, essentially, what's going on is there's allegations of like shill bidding or whatnot. I've seen a bunch of different videos. The first ones, like I said, I saw on Raul's page, which are AIH Sports. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with him, um, and again, it's basically talking about shill bidding, stuff like that. This one right here, where he's talking about mega bid. I guess there were some comps that were called into Card Ladder on a private nature. And I guess Card Ladder will take private comps if you're somebody who's reputable in the hobby with like a following that you can be like verified or whatnot. So
Yeah.
because he was the number 2 overall podcast, they felt comfortable accepting those. But again, like there's no proof whether or not it was shilling, or maybe he just didn't pay for the auction. You know what I mean? Like for me, like that would probably be embarrassing too. You know what I mean? Especially like if you like, I don't want to say he has money, but like he's a therapist, so that means he makes more money than I do. You know what I mean? So like he didn't pay for the auction. You know what I mean? So like that could be part of the reason why he's kind of um, not really put any content out and privated all of his content and stuff like that.
Yep. So Blaze has a question. He's old school.
Sure.
What is shill bidding?
Okay. So what shill bidding is like, say I am trying to sell this card right here. Like it's just a crappy Star Wars nothing card. But say it was something expensive like an 86 Jordan. I list that card, and Michael really wants this 86 Jordan that I have. So he's bidding on it, and me, as either the person who's listed it, will go on and bid under another account to drive up the price, or we'll have somebody else that I'm connected to go on and drive up the price. So that way, rather than, for example, this past week, I had a bunch of auctions on my eBay store ending. I sold a Isaac Okoro that I paid SGC $15 to slab for $1. So essentially, what a show bidder will do, they'll protect whatever value they have in that card, and they'll bid it all the way up to where they're comfortable selling it, so that way they're not losing money or whatnot. And sometimes people will show bid to make more money for themselves, like out of greed or whatnot. There's been a lot of the major auction houses that have been either busted for this or accused of this over the years as well. So like this isn't like something that's like, common to Rob or, just any one person. Major corporations are either busted of doing this. Like for example, PWCC,
Yeah.
they're one of the biggest hobby organizations there is. They were purchased by, I believe, Fanatics.
Yes, they were.
Um, they were kicked off of eBay for show bidding. Like eBay came out and said, yeah, they're no longer on our platform because they're show bidding. And they were either the biggest, if not like one of the 2 biggest overall sellers, not just of sports cards, overall sellers on eBay. Like we talked about Burbank sports cards having so many low end cards earlier. They're in the top 5% of all sellers on eBay, regardless of category,
Yeah.
based on what they do in cards. So it's a very fruitful market for the people who have found out how to do it right. You know what I mean? Like these big companies that, are getting cards cheap and able to process them. Obviously the software and stuff like that really helps. I know Burbank uses the Fujitsu and stuff like that as well to kind of scale what they did as well. Um, yeah, I agree, Jason. Auctions are kind of doo-doo brown unless you have something desirable or if you just want stuff gone. So I actually have, I
Oh,
think, 12 or 13 more slabs up right now that are set to $1. Like just what they sell for, they sell for. Um, most of them are like stuff I swung and missed at, like Okoro, Claypole, stuff that I don't care about. At this point, if I
Yeah.
get whatever, like I basically take them to the card show and put them out in like a $5 box at this point. So what they sell for, they sell for. But yeah, it's definitely an L just for me.
Hey, Carlos was here. Hello, Carlos.
What's
You
up,
popped
Carlos?
in.
Good to see you,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much of a take on it. Uh, the optics of the whole thing, you know, that
Speaking
I
of
have
Carlos, he's one
seen,
of the guys I wanted to shout out.
are bad. You know what I'm saying from that standpoint. I
Yeah,
mean, but again, you know, we're looking at a story from a story. You know what I'm saying? From that standpoint, uh, you know, guy like Carlos, he has, let's face it, he has the connections and everything, to get the true
yeah,
stories, stuff like that. There are other people who don't, who don't have the connections to find, to get the true stories, and they're just, kind of, you know, piecing things together and stuff like that and everything, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
from that standpoint, so I mean, it's one of these things of, again, Rob, if if you're lurking somewhere watching or like that, the invitation is open.
yeah,
You,
for sure.
you want to come on and talk about whatever, please, feel free. We would love to have you, come on, um, and just go from there and everything.
Yeah, and then even if right now you're uncomfortable with it, Rob, in the future we would love to have you on because I genuinely wanted to have a conversation where we learned about the podcast and just sports cards from a therapy perspective. Speaking of which, in the comment section in the chat, you guys will see that there's a link there for BetterHelp. That's to give you guys 2 free weeks of counseling. I figured with talking to Rob tonight, with him being a counselor, it was fitting to kind of pass some free help along to anyone that's listening to this podcast. So I'll also pin a comment after this as well. So anyone that's interested in 2 free weeks of BetterHelp counseling, it's like over the phone, virtual FaceTime counseling with a licensed professional. You can click that link and it's totally free. So
Yep.
I did want to offer that with the theme of what tonight was meant to be was, mental health and, Rob's sports card therapist and, that type of stuff. So did want to honor him and pass that along as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, just with a lot that's been going on, there's been several videos. Carlos put out a really good one the other day. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Carlos, make sure you do. We had him on the channel not too long ago, and he, he's really awesome. So make sure you check him out. But I'll definitely um, say that this has been all over YouTube. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the past, I would say, I don't know, since Friday maybe, or
Yep.
I don't even know what day like it really had broke. But I know like I texted you whenever I saw AIH's first video and Dan, like they both had videos that same day. I was like, I don't know that our Wednesday show is gonna go the way we think it's gonna go. Um so and again, like no shade to Rob for not being here. Like I understand giving this circumstances, like I might not want to be here either, especially with him not doing content at the moment. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Another guy that put out some videos is Dan the Card Man. Um, like I said, him and Raul were the two that I saw immediately last week. And so, yeah, 4 days ago, it looks like that's when that came out on Dan's channel. So
Yeah.
if you guys haven't had an opportunity, like we're not going to beat a dead horse. Like so many
No.
people have covered this for so long, but those are the main videos that talk about it. Another one that kind of gave a different perspective is there's a podcast we had Merlin on a few weeks back, but he's on a podcast with the great curator called Between Two Slabs, and they did a reaction to what was kind of happening last night on their show, and I was listening to that while I was at work, And kind of the whole spin that they kind of put on it was kind of like I was talking with you a little bit off air, Michael. Was it more so a show bidding thing, or was it more so like a non-paying buyer thing? You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
because like by definition, shilling would be more so what we talked about as opposed to, bidding and then not paying and then whatever. But
Well,
again,
and that,
we don't know. Does he know the seller? That's a piece of information that we don't know. From what I understand, is he came out with an IG live and he said that he was going to make it right to the seller and to the buyer. So whatever that means, I'm not entirely sure. But
yeah, I mean, well, look, yeah, like I said, just gone ahead and like when you said about Dan and Carberry, see, like when I watched his video and everything like that, I took it one way, you took it a different way. So that's the other piece,
mhm,
right? When you're watching
yeah,
somebody else who kind of is doing a little investigative stuff and this that, and the other thing, it's
yeah,
hard to come, it's hard to, um, you know, eh, get the full story, or you get, you hear it different, than than it's meant to be and stuff. And that's why, like I said, me, I thought it was his own cards he was bidding up. That's why it was shill bidding. But then I heard it was no, he was not paying and everything. And I'm like, okay, so I heard it different than the story was being told to me, uh, from that standpoint. But look, if you want to know, just search out sports card therapist. Go ahead and then make your own decision. Again, we'd love to go ahead and thank you very much, Dami. We'd love to go ahead and have him on, for whatever reason. Either to either talk about it, not talk about it, but just to have him on also about the podcast stuff, from that perspective and everything. But now,
for sure.
you know, now we've got through that. If we, back to the reselling stuff. Alan, favorite part about it is low ball offers. I never offended by them, so what I have started doing on mine, I even my cards that I sell for $2, I go ahead and accept offers. But what I've done now is I have a number that I don't really want to entertain, below. And that's what I put
Mhm,
in. I put that as my automatic reject. And then for something that I'm comfortable, that and then what I do is if I know a number that I want. So if let's say I have a $3 card, I may
mhm,
say, you know what? I don't really want to entertain anything less than $2.25. And if somebody's willing to offer me 275, I'll just go ahead and take it. In reality, 250 is fine also. But if someone's going to come up with a higher number, so like if I don't put my automatic accept at what I really am willing to go ahead and take. I put it a little bit higher because the way someone's willing to offer higher, I can go ahead and I
mhm.
can get it, you know.
Yeah,
All right,
for
man, you
sure.
get the little one to bed and come on back. But I'm not
Yes,
I'm not
sir.
offended by it now. I mean, that, I don't necessarily I don't get offended by it, but it's one of those ones where, you know, you you have a card and whatever the dollar figure is, just, we'll just say it's $10, and you accept offers and somebody puts 7, and you reject it and say, you know what, 950 because let's see if he's serious or not. What irritates me is when that person comes back and puts $7 again.
Yeah, or less.
Right.
Like
Or
I've
they
had
go
people that do
backwards.
less.
Yeah. That those are the only ones that kind of, irritate me some. Um, but
Or how about
otherwise,
the
I
people that
don't
lowball you and then you take it because you've had the item for like 2+ years and then they never
exactly.
pay? It's like you
Yeah,
just
that's the
literally got this at like an 80% discount and you can't pay for it.
right.
Like,
Yeah. Hmm. Well, that's what I do. Like I had a lot of toys in my store right now, that I had gotten in 2021 maybe, or maybe even I don't think it was the end of 2020, but it was GameStop was having like these massive, massive sales,
oh,
like action figures for $5 and less and everything, and
right.
good I mean decent ones, stuff, ones
Yeah.
that sell and everything, and I went to like 4 or 5 of them and I bought and I just got a ton of them and stuff. And
Mhm.
I've already made my money back and I've already, even gotten, I probably, doubled with what I sold. So like with everything that I have left, I just did like a 50% sale from now, for as long as this as eBay would allow me to go ahead and move more. And then two of them sold, yesterday. I don't use the auto accept either. My bottom dollar certified any card. Can't give it out for free at $1.75. I'm only making 63 cents. I do free shipping. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's another thing that I have. I have started free shipping. I'm seeing what is happening there. I am selling more cards in the that I have listed as free shipping versus um versus with shipping.
Mhm.
But basically, I mean, but the ones that I have with that I charge shipping, their list price is lower. So I may have $1.50 and 99 cent shipping. So I have that card. So basically that card is listed, at $2.49.
Yeah.
But what I do is I'll do like $2.23 and free shipping.
Yeah.
So I still, from that standpoint. I do use promoted. I promote
I do as well.
8.5%.
I just promote it whatever it asks for.
Yeah, I do 8.5. I don't know if that's good or I don't know if that's good or not, but that's basically what I do. At one point, I was only doing like people who go, just promote it as low as possible, like 1 or 2%. At least it gets in there. And I was like, I didn't see anything. So I was like, you know what? If I was doing 2%, I'll go to 8.5. That's 6 cents. It ain't, it's not like, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, 2%. That's good.
Yeah. I
You know,
typically do just because most of the inventory I deal in is like very, very readily available. So I would rather make a little bit less, but sell it before like the other thousand guys that have that same card. So free shipping and paying for promoted, selling a $2 card, you're paying buyers to take them. It just depends.
I
I
mean,
don't have free shipping on anything on my store. I still do pretty well, but I combine shipping too.
yeah.
So
Well,
it
I mean,
really
when you think about it, if I promote at 8.5, I sell a $2 card, right? So my promoted fee, if they bought it through promoted fee, is 17 cents, 63 cents for my label. So I'm at 80 cents, 30 cents for, the transaction fee, so I'm at $1.10. I mean, you're not making, a crap ton, but, by the same token, though, like I had a buddy of mine who had a whole bunch of cards and everything, and he sent me 4 large flat rate boxes filled with cards, and I just paid for shipping, which was like $21. There's gotta be 3,000 cards in there. So
mm,
my cost is very, very small. So yes, don't get me wrong. No, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That I'm not paying a lot of money. But what I'm just saying is that my cost to the card is a penny. Well, I don't disagree with you, Paul, saying my time is worth so much an hour. you know, yes, but I also have a full time job where my cost per hour is already supplemented from that standpoint, and this is just a hobby right now. I'm not, I see. I am not doing this as a full time income. You're 100% correct. But then again, I'll be honest with you. If I was doing this as a full time income, I wouldn't have only 2,200 cards listed.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would have I would have, whatever, 100,000. When I'd have a bigger store and I would have
Mhm,
that big number up there. You know what I'm saying? So
for
from that
sure.
standpoint, so to me to go ahead and do it and list it and stuff like that, it's I mean, it's therapy, if you wanna say, it's a way to just,
Yeah.
chill, relax. It just passes
Yeah.
the time and stuff like that. But no, Paul, I mean, you're 100% correct. If this was if this was full time, yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
You'd
like
have to scale.
Bo from 1,000,000 Cubs, right?
Hmm.
He's full time, but he's using the software. If you look, he has 40,000 some odd listings, if not more.
Yeah. He's like 10x my store, and I'm like close to 5,000.
Yeah. So he's, turning, he's doing the volume game
Hmm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From that standpoint.
By the same point too, with the low end stuff that's like $1 to $5, it's very common. A lot of people have it. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be something that's going to be like an overnight seller. Like if you think of like ephemera, right? Certain pieces of ephemera are going to literally sit in your store forever because you're waiting for the right person that's going to come by and actually give a crap about what's printed on that piece of paper. It's the
Hmm.
same thing with cards.
Yep.
But the difference is when you're talking about the low end cards, there's thousands of those little pieces of paper out there. So while you're waiting for that one person to find that ephemera, you might have to wait for that one person to come by 15 times before it's your time to be that person selling it because so many people have copies of
Yeah.
it. But for me, like what I really like with the lower end stuff for me is trying to either get built multi quantity orders or kind of use that as fodder to kind of get a lot of my bigger items moving and stuff like that.
And that's what I was hoping for when I started switching over a bunch of my newer listings now to free shipping to see if I can generate more multiple card orders, and it hasn't happened yet. Um, but you know, yeah, 100% correct. So one up from that, what software? So there's a couple different softwares. Um, if you go and look on, I forgot, is it my channel? I think it was Card
I think
Dealer
they're on my
Pro.
channel.
What?
I think they were on my channel.
Yeah. So if you go to either one of our channels, Card Dealer Pro, maybe if Anthony can find it, he can pin the video. Um, Card Dealer Pro is one. Chrono Card is another. It basically, what you do is you basically you don't have to, but if you have a scanner, you get a photo scanner, a drop-in scanner that can do both sides, and basically you then take those cards, you put them into this software in a batch, and it automatically looks up the card and creates the listing for you. Then you have your different attributes. You have, your shipping policies, your return policies, so on and so forth. And then basically, once you do that, it creates the listings. You basically import them into eBay, and you literally can list 100 cards in minutes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Aiden, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Aiden.
Yeah, Card Dealer Pro is working with their AI. Their AI is, they I think they were trying to go to Card Dealer Pro 2, and it's having some issues now. But then I hear some people say on the older cards, there's no issue whatsoever. It's something more or less on the rare. Uh, Right now, Card Dealer Pro, uh, I believe it's just sports cards. They were talking about getting into the Pokemon TCGs type stuff, from that standpoint. Um, but when you think about, like I said, the actual idea of being able to take, 100 cards, put them through your scanner, and then take that file and then just import that file into Card Dealer Pro, and it creates the listings for you. And what the way they have it set up is your title can be how you want it. So if you're the type that does, year, product, let's say what the card is, then the card number, then the player, and then the team, you can set that up that way to where when you drop it in, it creates all those listings, for you right away. Um, so it is cool. As fast as the scanners, can work, you can get them. So you literally, you just, again, you do it in a batch, and then you basically just create those batches over into eBay, and boom, listings are up and live in minutes.
And from what I
Eh,
understand, the older the set, the more accurate the scanners are. And
Yep.
obviously, the new sets have a lot of parallels and stuff like that that's going to be 100% accurate on. But especially if you're dealing in older stuff, this is a very viable option.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, especially if like places like Burbank will like actually waste their I don't want to say waste their time, but like spend their time doing this. You know what I mean? Like they are operating in California in like one of the most expensive like to rent places in the country.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I would say that I don't want to put like a total percentage on it, but I would say a high percentage of their sales is probably low end stuff on eBay.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And now, so now what do speaking of them, and if they're using the software and stuff like that, what do you what do you think of them going to 99-cent free shipping on a lot of stuff?
You know what? That's going to crush a lot of. So interesting thing about that is I was just watching Flipping Sports Guy did a video on that earlier today or yesterday or sometime recent. I was
Paulie?
just
Yeah.
yeah, I was watching it earlier today. Um, throw up his channel for you guys if you want to check him out. Michael and I will have him on at some point too. We're just trying to line up schedules,
Yep.
but yeah, that was the question: is he worried about Burbank pricing out low end cards? And he said he wasn't. He said the way I look at Burbank is kind of like Walmart. Like they're not really competition to me because I'm like a mom and pop's corner store. Which I mean, to be honest, like how are any of us gonna compete with Burbank? Like just on the scale that they're at. You know what I mean? Like maybe like a ComC might have some kind of a shot, but like just you, you're a guy sitting there in his free time scanning some cards in your basement. You know what I mean? Like there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with them. You know what I mean? I'm a guy who's like listing in my off time and when I have downtime at work. Like there's no way I'm going to even be in the ballpark of a a Burbank type operation. But even still, like even with like diminished sales of me being gone, I'm still selling low end crap. Like, and I don't want to say crap, but like I sold a base card of Nebula today from Marvel Allure, which is like I think I got $1.50 for it. Like it's nothing spectacular, but that's $1.50 with shipping. You know what I mean? For a card, like when you think of like the base cards in your pack, those are normally like your throwaway cards. You know what I mean? So like that wasn't even one of the good cards I got in my pack.
Yeah.
So once you start selling those cards that are like $1.50, like you might get a base card of Jokic and never even think to sell it, but he's one of the hottest players in the NBA. Somebody out there is going to collect a base card of him.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% correct, and I think, so look, I mean, I obviously, when you think about Burbank, with there are two things, in my opinion, that they're doing. Number one is they're trying to get you to come to their store and hope that you buy two, three, four, five cards, right?
Yep.
And then you think about it from a standpoint of is if you go there and you buy some, you buy some, you buy some, and then you kind of, then you remember that, and maybe you go back to Burbank, but now all of a sudden you're buying a $4 card, a $6 card, an 8, a 10, a 12, a $15 card, right? So that's what that really is. I mean, yes, all even when you look at a big box store. So I spent 25 years in retail industry. There are a lot of products in retail stores that are what they call loss leader. The retailer makes zero money on it, but it gets you in the store to buy a bunch of other stuff. And I think that's what
Yep.
they are looking for from that standpoint. Yeah. Raul, how you doing? Thanks for
What's up,
stopping by, my
Raul?
man. But I
Again,
think that's
guys, I was going to say Raul was the one who we were talking about earlier with the video where we kind of heard the breaking news with what was going on with Rob. And
yep.
again, anybody wanted to check that out, there's the video that Raul posted the other day.
Yeah. But I think that's, but again, that's what I think is going on here. That one guy is always doing shorts, pulling $10 cards out of their $1 boxes. American Arbitrage Cards, Carrie, we had him on. He does a lot. Well, if that's the right same guy you're talking about, but he does a lot of that. He has like two or three card shops in Las Vegas where he lives, and he pulls those out regularly.
Yep.
Goes to the dollar card. You're here for the hanky panky. Hope we may disappoint you. Sorry. Um, yeah, but that's what you can do. You can do that, from that standpoint. You can literally go ahead and, go and do it and find a lot of, 10, 12, $20 cards, in these things. It's one of the things that Anthony talked about, like, you know, um, when we go to a show, or especially like when you go to nationals, you would not believe how many 15 to $20 cards you're going to find in dollar bins if you're willing to put in the time, because those guys that have those bins, those boxes, they start building it probably in February,
Yeah,
March. And guess what? They're not gonna go through and pick out when somebody goes off and all this other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? From that perspective, you
for
know?
sure. And Jason, man, you're so right. Like, good LCS is so huge, especially if you want to be able to resell cards to like get cards for your collection or whatever. Like, being able to just go to certain card shops. Like, I know, like, shout out to my guy Josh, who just opened Guy on the Couch. He has these dollar boxes, $3 boxes, and stuff like that, where he just doesn't want to deal with this stuff. So he's gonna throw out just like banger after banger in there. Like,
Yep.
I last time I went in there, I just looked through his wrestling box because just that enough was enough to basically fill like close to a two-row worth of cards. And I'm going through like getting numbered cards for 50 cents. You know what I mean? Getting like parallels of Braun Baker for like a dollar or whatnot, you know.
Yeah,
Um
you
Don's
can
always
find a
welcome, brother.
yeah. You can find a lot of good deals out there, in the dollar bin,
Mhm.
that thing.
For sure. Um man, me and Marty like through
Supplies is
COVID, man,
another
we
big one.
what is?
Like Alan said, his LCS has great card supplies.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
that's another
for
one,
sure.
getting that kind of stuff, finding that stuff at good prices. That's stuff. Wow, the
For sure.
closest one is 45 minutes away. Holy
That
smokes.
sucks. Yeah,
Dang.
that's tough, man. What's the card community like in your area? Like, do you have good shows or anything like that? Yeah, I mean the LCS is like so huge. Like I'm lucky here in Pittsburgh. Like there's so many good shops. Then even when I was in California, like it's like Burbank's out there, Jaspy's out there, like a whole bunch of like huge card shops are out there too.
Yeah, I think
But I mean, there's
go
nothing
ahead.
like your local neighborhood card shop that you can go in and just pick up cards for like next to nothing. You can sit there digging for hours. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like it's just
Well, I
good
think the
time.
thing is, I think, when you look at a Burbank, when you look at the larger ones, right? They can afford to give you a little more, or what I'm saying, or than what they were willing to, because for them, the mom and pop shop, right? If a card
Yep.
comps at 100, they probably want to be at around $60 to sell it, because they're a mom and pop. They need, more meat on the bone. Whereas a Burbank type place, they can probably, if they want, go 70 or 80, because they have so many people coming in that even in their mid-range cards, they're still getting a lot of traffic on those, to people come and buy them, right? So they can afford to, you know, make 20% rather than 40%, because they make 20% because they're selling a lot more of those cards, where they're making 20%, 20%, 20%, rather than somebody selling one large card to a local mom and pop, and then that card sits there waiting for the right person to come in, you know?
Burbank's operation is so huge that they literally have a department at their store that is literally buying, like to where, like the people that trade or sell there know, hey, you come in, between this hour and this hour. There's only like I think two days, 1 or 2 days that they don't do it, but literally this is the entire department's full time job is just looking over cards that people bring in, offering money off of collections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I used to like basically do like the Coinstar approach whenever I lived out there. So like every single time me and Marty would rip stuff, and I would say honestly, probably more than 50% of it was Marty's stuff because like that's how I got the Tony Tilapia nickname because he'll be ripping boxes and he cares about like two or three cards that come out of the box. And I'm like, man, that's like a colored parallel of Jetty Osman, man. Like, let me grab that. You know what I mean? I'm going through, digging through, trying to find base cards of LeBron or, whatever I can find. You know what I mean? So like, um, I just keep two rows full of this stuff, as I'm ripping, as he's ripping, here's all the rookies, here's all the inserts, that he didn't want, that I didn't want. Here's all the junk color cards that neither of us wanted. You know what I mean? Here's some patch relics of players I don't care about. Here's a
Mm.
couple autographs of some people I've never heard of. You know what I mean? Like, so then I would wait till I have like 3, 4, 5 2-row boxes just full of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? For them, it's perfect because that's like their low end eBay model is to list all of that stuff. Like, oh, great, I got like another 50 hoops LaMelo Ball cards, or Anthony Edwards, or whoever the hell it is. You know what I mean? So I would bring them all of that stuff. And I would go to their like big fancy display case and I would pick out like a nice LeBron rookie card or something like that for myself, like once a month, once every 2 months or whatever, just as I was able to save up enough.
Wow,
But yeah, I
one
mean, they,
card. Yeah, yeah.
I was
Oh
gonna say, I'm
wow,
just
yeah,
like, what was that? The one card show? Yeah, that sucks.
yeah.
Yeah, Texas is pretty good for card shows too. I know Dallas is popping. I don't know, Burbank makes money with their huge inventory. They would be effed if it was a fire. I'm sure they have some kind of insurance to cover that kind of stuff, like losses. Honestly, if there was a fire, they'd probably make more money because think of all of those cards that are probably never going to sell. Of like, no offense, Mike, but like Zach Wilson or Trey Lance
Yeah.
or like any of these quarterbacks, like maybe Kenny Pickett next year, who knows? Like God forbid. Desmond Ritter at this point, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
So
well,
they
and
probably
that,
have thousands of those cards. So imagine if
right.
like all of their, Zach Wilson's would just go up in smoke, like, and they could be like, oh, well, that was listed for $1, and they just lost 1,000 of them. Boom, there's $1,000 on Zach Wilson. You're never going to see that even on like a one of one.
Oh yeah. No, you're 100% correct. I mean, they would definitely have to have something, but it's no. I mean, all those places have to have that. I mean, I would ass- I would want to believe that they're I don't know what they do as far as, from a security perspective of what they do with their cards at the end of the day, the showcases, do they have a guard there 24/7 and then or do they put them away? But I'm sure they're super duper valuable stuff every night. I would want to hope that that would go into some kind of, super duper fireproof safe somewhere,
I
you
would
know.
imagine them expensive stuff does. But
Yeah.
I'm sure they have like from what I've seen in YouTube videos, they have like a warehouse that's just like if you think of like an Amazon warehouse, it's just like laced with like 2, 3 row boxes of
Yeah.
and it's broken down by like however they sort it or whatever. But like that stuff, like it would be impossible to keep that like in any kind of fireproof situation, I would imagine.
No,
But
you
I mean,
can't
the
because you
more
can't
expensive
fireproof a
stuff,
building.
yeah.
Or you can't fire. I mean, you can't fireproof a building where you think about it, the largest content that you have is very flammable.
Yeah, the only way, Jason,
Yeah.
I'm ever making money back on Isaac Okoro is if, God forbid, it burns down. And I say
Hey,
God forbid because I have other cards here that I do not want to see die of that demise. But yes,
blame
it's
Canada.
totally Matt
That's
Canada's fault.
it
Um,
is Matt Canada.
it was literally like a holiday here in Pittsburgh. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before when Matt Canada got fired. I mean, I got a text from you, Michael, and it's like,
Right.
yeah, me and Jeff have already been rejoicing. But like my entire Facebook for months has been like fire Matt Canada, fire Matt Canada, fire Matt Canada. So like everybody here in Pittsburgh just wanted this dude fired. He's like public enemy number one.
And now they said what that Big Ben is a potential
Hmm.
as offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
That'd
that'd
be
be
pretty
huge.
cool. That would be
I mean,
very, very interesting.
if you look at it this way, he ran that offense for like 20 years. And there were plenty of times where he did the no huddle, where like no one was even calling in plays. He was fully running it by himself.
Yeah.
So like if you're looking for somebody that knows how to run a Pittsburgh Steeler offense, like literally no one's better than Big Ben.
Yep. Yeah,
But
Alan,
I'm a little
that
bit
vault
biased.
option, yeah, that one always was interesting to me when that was started, when that was talked about a lot. You know, like I guess, if it's mid-range cards, stuff like that, I don't know, but like I don't know. Like to me, if I got a Hank Aaron, rookie card or something like that, I mean, I want to be able to show that off, when you tell people, "Oh man, oh you're in the cards, yeah, check out this Hank Aaron," rather than, "Hey, hold on a second, hold on, let me show you the Hank Aaron I have. Oh look here,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I mean, for that case, matter of fact, heck,
I still do that though.
I own a 52 mantle. Hey, let me show you it. Look, check it out, it's right there.
Actually, you want to see something funny I picked up at a garage sale? Let me grab this. I
Um,
literally paid a guy $1 for it because it's probably the closest I'm going to come to owning Roberto Clemente rookie card. So it was like some old dude that had like these two what seemed to be cards in a screw down and it had like one of these little stickers that said $1. I'm like, yeah, there's no way that's real. I pick it up and it's like literally he just printed them out of like some kind of a probably can't tell because the green screen. He just printed them out of like his printer. But I'm never gonna own these. So literally I bought it and I just have it sitting over on my stand there to look at because I
there
love
you
Roberto
go.
Clemente. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like dollar well spent.
Jason bought a Reggie White. That's cool. Bring back.
Nice.
Most
Reggie
former
White was
quarterbacks can
awesome,
go
man.
back and run out. Yeah, yeah. Most quarterbacks can. I had a card to me I bought from the eBay vault. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't
I
tried their vault yet. I thought about it when they first started doing it, um, especially because I have so much stuff on eBay anyway. But my thing is like, especially since like we had Scott from Next Gem on, like I've been using that to transact cards, like not even on his like no offense, but not even on their platform. I've been going to card shows and like just like Michael was saying, like here's my 52 metal. I've been like, here's all my cards. Like if you want any, let me know and I can let you look through my case or whatever. You know
right.
what I mean? Or like I've been using that to like even get images of my slabs for eBay, which has been making it easier to sell on there and stuff like that. Um, so like sometimes you can even use some of these platforms as kind of like a tool for that as well.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, $25 for a card
Yes.
for a card you've been wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, that's all. That's great. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, we both have had cards at vaults. I mean, I have a bunch of
Yeah.
cards still at a vault that I have to
Mm-hmm.
get out of a vault. You've already gotten yours out of the vault.
Yeah, I mean, tried it, you know, is what it is.
You know.
I like the flexibility of doing whatever I need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you have it in hand. Like I said, I mean, and I think that is why when you look why NFTs didn't go over in the sports card market.
I think that if it was liquid enough to where like if here's what I think like for any vaults that like I doubt any vault watches our program, but if any vault would watch our program, here's a really good idea. Like if you want to have more cards in the vault, if I had some kind of guarantee that like whatever I put in there is going to move, or at least have a very, very high probability of moving, I would probably be more prone to do it because I don't have too many cards that I'm going to vault for the sake of like, hey, this is like a priceless card that like I'll never be able to afford again. I just don't have cards like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
My most expensive card is probably my LeBron James Topps Chrome. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's a big card for somebody like me, but for the average person, they're like, oh, it's just a LeBron rookie card, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like most people that like might not even make their top 10 cards in their collection.
Yeah. So Sean, what the vault is, yeah, I mean, it basically it's a safety deposit. Well, it's a safety deposit box, but it's not that you can't go down to your bank and open it and look at the card. It's someplace else. Some places
Correct.
they don't, it's someplace, it is somewhere else. Like for eBay, who knows? It could be in, it could be in, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It can be in Denver, Colorado. It could be in Sioux Falls. It could be Fargo, North Dakota. Like
I
I
think a
don't know
lot
where
of
their vault
these
is, but
companies are trying to I think a lot of them are trying to go into states that don't have state like income tax, not income tax, but sales tax or whatever to try
yeah,
to make that incentivize more people to use the vaults so that
yeah,
that way if you're going to sell a big card, you're not paying the sales tax because like, if you're selling a Mickey Mantle, like that's going to be a good chunk of money coming out in sales tax. So if you had a liquid vault that you knew that a 52 mantle would move in, that might actually be a decent play if you could get around the sales tax. But for like guys like me and Michael who are flipping like $1 to $10 cards, it's I personally would rather have the stuff to put as front of as many eyes as possible whenever I'm going to shows.
yes. Diamond Princess is unknown home in somewhere in Montana. Yeah. So, and they don't want you to know, right? Because obviously, if you're trying that's the added protection part to it. That you can put them in this vault and
Yeah,
there they are. Yes, and you can sell them and they don't leave and they just stay, they stay, right there and stuff. But now, Anthony buys it from me now and it
mhm,
just stays right there. Anthony
yeah,
never gets it, right? So, so you don't have to worry about, so now from an standpoint of, you don't have to worry about shipping and stuff like that,
mhm,
getting lost and those types of things, right? So there
mhm,
is that part also,
yeah.
um,
I mean, it
from
definitely
that
has its
standpoint.
pros and cons.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You just have to like know what is good to put in and what's not good to put in. You know what I mean? Like some vaults have platforms where you can sell the cards you put in, some don't. Some it's like you're just putting your cards in like a safety deposit box. And just
Right.
like Lockett says with parts unknown, like that's kind of the point is like Michael said, is just for the security. You know what I mean? So like if no one actually knows where the facility is outside of maybe like a state or a city, it makes it a lot less likely that somebody could break into the facility.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, it's makes sense.
Oh wow, what happened with Hall Notes? Did I miss something in the news?
I read about that. I don't know. I don't know. But Daryl Hall's 77. John Oates is 75 years old. I mean, come on. They're like, we'll probably never work again together. Okay, really?
It's like, will you even be alive next decade?
I mean, come on.
No offense to any Hall Notes fans out there.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. I mean, like the whole vault thing, again, to each their own. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a like you said, Anthony, from that standpoint, for the area of the value of what my high value cards are, you know,
Mhm.
a little fireproof box that I could go buy at Home Depot is really probably that's good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
the
I
cr-
mean,
the
from
cr-
that standpoint.
the crazy thing too is like our high dollar cards that we're looking to transact. That's like eBay bread and butter. Like if you have a card that's like $50 to $200, that's probably like one of the easiest cards to transact on like eBay because
Mhm.
most guys are getting paid. They're looking for a nice card for themselves. Like most people can afford $50 to $200 for a
Yeah.
nice card.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, so it's a pretty decent like at least for like PC buying. In that range. Like obviously there's people that make considerably more money. Um, but then there's also people who make considerably less money too, which is why the low end stuff is good too. Like I sell probably more low end cards than I do high end cards. But Again, that's probably more so due to my inventory. You know what I mean? Like if I had more money to put out, I'd imagine I'd probably transact a lot more in the high end market. But then again, the high end market's very volatile. You know what I mean? Like the money I've lost on Mac Jones, the money I've lost on Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. Like if you add it all up, it might be under $100. If you have one of those cards, like imagine you're the guy that bought the Mac Jones black 1 of 1 for $100,000. Like I would throw up in my own mouth, like thinking of that.
You would
Like that's the big
you
difference. You
spend
know
a
what I mean?
bunch
So if
of
I
you
whiff, it's like, okay, it's like it feels like I just opened a bad box if I whiff.
right.
Whereas if these people whiff, it's like, wow, I just like lost a mortgage payment or like my house. Like,
Well, not look, you look at that one, but even look, hey, look at the '86 Jordan. Even that has gone down.
yeah,
From where it was. The problem we have is everybody's all the everything's being compared to 2020, 2021. And the truth is those were a crazy ass time in the market, and a lot of those people are you know uh they are less per se, they are coming down and stuff like that. Now they probably, a lot of them might be coming down closer to where they were in 2017, 2018, 2019. But it just, the problem you have was it shot up so
yeah,
damn fast
yep.
and became, oh my gosh, so darn fast that
Mhm.
people just spent stupid kind of monies. It was
Insane.
it was FOMO. The hobby
Speaking
has
of,
the hobby's fizzled out. I personally think, a lot of that has to do, in my humble opinion, is with the higher end investors. I think there were a lot of guys who got in, they were buying these 100, 200, $300,000 cards, $50,000 cards, expecting all those to become, for lack of better words, the next T206, you know, Holmes-Wagner, or,
yeah,
or the 52 Mantle. That's what they're expecting,
yep.
or the '86 Jordan, or the Wayne Gretzky rookie card. Like they were expecting that type of stuff, and it 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 just didn't pan out. All these cards and everything.
Yep. And you're
Yeah,
not wrong, Lockin. Ton of
yeah,
stimulus money went into cards.
yep. A lot of them went ahead and did that type of stuff, and they took it in the shorts.
A lot of base Zion Williamson going out there.
You know, yeah. But I mean, but the problem the problem you have is even now with some of the newer stuff, a lot of it, there's a bunch of it out there, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not as scarce as you would have hoped for, you know. But again, people pulling. I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, nothing against Victor Wembanyama, but should his cards be going for what they're going for?
No,
I
no.
mean, and even look at it this way. They were talking about the new, in the Topps Chrome update, the Pro Debut patches and everything.
Mhm.
There are these no name players. I mean, I had to go ahead and go, and I know I follow baseball. I
Yep.
had to go, who the hell is that guy? And it's a 1 of 1, but it's
Mhm.
his, rookie thing with this nobody, and it's like $3,500, $4,000, and I'm like, why?
Yeah. That almost reminds me of like the late '90s PMGs. Like, you know how much I love Cordell Stewart. Like, I'm
Mhm.
probably as big a Cordell guy as you're gonna find.
Yep.
I'm finding cards of him that are like 1,200, 2,000, $3,000 for like 1990s PMGs. And then I'm like, this can't be right. This has to just be some moron that doesn't know what he's looking at. So then I start researching these like '90s PMGs, and I'm like, holy crap! There's like players I've never heard of that are going for like $800, $900. Like it is insane what some cards are worth. But like, here's the thing: like with me being as big a fan of Cordell Stewart as I am, and me like literally looking at that saying, I could go buy a Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie for that same amount of money. Why the hell would I ever buy that Cordell Stewart? Like, what percentage of these like cards actually transact? You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's crazy to see the prices on some of this stuff. AIH said probably money laundering. I could totally see that. Especially with
Heck
a lot of
yeah.
the shadiness that we've seen kind of come through the hobby. You know, especially with like look at card porn. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to find out there was some kind of even money laundering going on with that kind of situation. Even
Yeah. And Eric Kramer,
oh, nice.
red 90.
Yeah, even 121 sounds like a reasonably decent price for like a PMG from back then. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's where we are and stuff. I mean, and it it is what it is, and
That's what
that's why.
inserts should be, man. They should be like that type of rarity to where like all these years later, an Eric Kramer sells for $121. Whereas like there's probably going to be people watching this that are like, who the hell's Eric Kramer? You
Right.
know what I mean? Nothing against Eric Kramer, but there might be
Oh,
people that are like, who the hell's this Cordell Stewart guy that Anthony talks about all the time?
you're right. It's
For
probably
reference, he's
like,
a guy that played for us 20 years ago.
yeah. Well, it's probably like also, there are people who go when they probably hear, "Hey, well, David Carr," and they go, "Oh, no, you mean Derek." "Oh, no. You mean David. Derek
Yeah,
had a brother,
yeah,
an older brother who
yep.
who 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 didn't do that well, but
Who
again,
got
another one
drafted
of those
even
guys
higher?
where I'm sure if he had a PMG card, it would probably be over $100,
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
you
sure.
know?
But I mean, Raul makes a good point though. Like I could totally see a lot of money laundering going on with some of these cards.
Of course. Of
You
course.
know, especially trying to find like a legal means to do it. Like it seems like there's so much shadiness that like kind of goes on behind the scenes anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey, again, you don't know. All this private sale stuff, they can say a lot. They can say whatever they want to say. You mean you don't, hey, oh, I bought this card for $100,000. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not like you take up the Mac Jones, right?
Yeah,
It's not like that guy went ahead and he threw $100,000 in cash in the back of that kid's father's minivan and gave him the card and everything, right? So wow, that's unbelievable, and so on and so forth. That's awesome and everything. But you don't know. We don't know. Like Ross has, did the cards go ahead and change hands? Did all that kind of stuff happen and everything? From that standpoint.
yeah. Jason says he doesn't like SCI using his followers to gain, so he's opening an LCS, but all those cards will double the market price. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to
Yep.
see what happens with his shop, just because of like number one, the size of it. Number two, it's supposed to be like a 24/7 operation, to where like if I'm up at like 3 in the morning and I want to look at some cards, I should be able to like, I guess, log on to the store and actually shop his showcases for cards.
Well,
So
I see.
it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Um, you know what I mean? To kind of see, because he's done like that online virtual through his channel. I know like
Yeah.
one of the years he did it, I was actually one of the vendors that went on um, and actually sold some cards. But I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. I think if anyone has an opportunity for it to succeed, it's probably Jeff, just because he does have the biggest channel in the hobby. So like, I mean, he can basically advertise for them for. I mean, I don't want to say for free, but like it's at no cost to him, as
Well, you have
you
to
know.
understand where it is also. It's basically right near Truist Field, Truist Park, where where the baseball team from Georgia plays,
Yeah,
right? So I mean, he's going to get massive, massive amounts of traffic, from that. But I'll tell you, But here's the thing. Here's the thing that you have to understand, Jason, and the truth of the matter is, most as you become a big influencer, you become a big YouTuber or a TikToker or Instagrammer, whatever the hell it is you are, most of them make money, a lot of their money off of their subscribers. They sell to their people. They sell to the people that follow them. That's, and that's, I mean, that's just the way that's just the way it does. I mean, they market to that. I mean, you think about, SCI, you think about all the subscribers that he has that are in the decent driving area to here where it's going to be, and probably, I don't know if it's considered Smyrna or Marietta. He's going to get a lot of people driving an hour, 2, 3 hours away. People are going to come from freaking Birmingham. They're going to come from,
Oh, yeah.
Chattanooga and Knoxville. They're going to come from a lot of places because it's him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And the truth
honestly,
is
like,
you monetize you monetize your subscriber base, and that's what he's banking on.
not only that, I mean, honestly, at some point, I'm not even gonna lie, I'll probably drive down there knowing that it's like right in your backyard, just so
Mhm.
that we can go hang out there and do collaborations and check out the shop. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because like it sounds to me like regardless like what you think of Jeff or like the shop, it's probably going to be like one of those destination shops. Like for example, like Marty and I drove, I think it was like 3.5 hours to Columbus to check out Card Collector 2 shop because it was like a destination shop.
yep,
Now, was it like the best shop I've ever been to? It was a really good shop. Now, like full transparency, me and Marty found one other shop in the same town that we liked even better. Now, it's not because Card Collector Two's shop wasn't great. It's because what we like to do, bargain box and, all that stuff, this other place just had way more of it. You know what I
right.
mean? So it was just like it was our jam. You know what I mean? Like they even had slab bargain boxes and stuff like that. So, we ended up spending tons of money at that other place, but we still had a great time going to Card Collector Twos and like just being able to like look in the back room. They have like a window, and you can like if Ryan's there, you can like see him doing podcast or whatever the heck he does in that room. You know what I mean? And like you see like the background of his videos and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Well,
So
and that's what if
same
you
with
if you look at what he's doing about whatever he's calling whatever Sports Cards HQ, whatever the heck the name is
yeah,
going to be,
Cards
that's one of the
HQ, I
things.
think.
Yeah, that's one of the things that he plans on having. A big window with a breaker sitting there, and you're going to be able to watch you're going to be able to go there and sit in a chair, in front of a big piece of glass, and watch a break live, whether you're in it or not, and everything. So from that standpoint, I mean, look, to each his own. From that standpoint, Cards
You know what I
HQ.
like? I just like that in the thumbnail he even has the hello.
I know.
Like every time I see that face, that's all I think of is hello.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, so this is the website, the world's local card shop. So wherever you are, we're open to you. So it's supposed to be 24 hours a day. You should be able to interact and shop there, even if you're like not there. 14,000 square feet. Um, I mean, compared to the National, how big square footage do you think the National is, Michael?
National had to be 500,000, 500,000.
So
Had to be.
in comparison, 14,000 square feet is this like a Best Buy, a Sam's Club, a Walmart? Like I'm not good with math or measurements or any of that stuff. Like
Well, okay, put it this
it
way,
sounds like it's like huge.
you've been to a Home Depot store before?
Yeah.
The inside of a Home Depot store is about 100,000.
Okay.
So you're talking 15% of that.
Okay.
So you're not talking it's not, I mean, it's not as massive, as you think it is.
Good question, Sean. I've actually met both, but it was like really weird because I didn't really know who they were and they didn't really know who I was. My buddy Mark from the Pittsburgh Card Show, who's been on here a couple times with us, um, we were just BSing one time at his table, and he goes, "Anthony, you know who the hell that was?" And I was like, "No, who was that?" He goes, "That's Jab's family." I was like, "Really?" Like, I mean, I watch Jabs, but at full transparency, like baseball is like down my totem pole of like sports that I follow. So,
Yeah.
which makes like a channel like Jabs, which is mainly baseball, low in my rotation. So, you know what I mean? Like I might not recognize a Jabs family, even though he's also from Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? And clearly he didn't recognize me, even though my name is Picksburgh. You know what I mean? So, but then again, like he's over 100,000. I'm like piddly like 3,000. So it's like not even like the same ballpark. But yeah, no, I've never like actually knowingly engaged with Jabs. So we did have a conversation with both brothers, but I didn't know who they were, and I don't think they knew who I was either.
Well,
Um,
Jason, and you're right, Jason. You have that is awesome. Look at the guys in the backyard, right?
yeah,
They get stupid prices for their breaks when they shouldn't.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But again, people are willing to pay more. It's what Anthony, I think what we talked about, I think like with Whatnot and everything.
mm,
You know, and you watch Whatnot and you see and you're like, you're out of your freaking mind, you know, paying that amount of money for that card or those pair of shoes or that, you know, that concert t-shirt. But a lot of people, yeah, a lot of
So
people, um, you know, they want to say I purchased from,
yeah.
because when they get their card in the mail, there may be a sticker in it that says sports card investor, or it says, you know, backyard breaks, or it says something from one of these other guys and everything, you know, from that standpoint. Stevie Splenda, what's happening,
Steve,
Stevie?
what is up, my man? Love to have you back on sometime soon,
Yeah.
man. I think the episode with Steve is still one of our like highest viewed episodes we've had. So
Yep.
shout out to Steve Splenda for bringing the fire when he came on.
But you're
Um,
right, Alan. I mean, from that standpoint, you know, he's going to be open 24 hours a day. He's going to get
mhm,
the people that, you know, that are down at Truist Park and they're hanging out there and they're drinking and all this other kind of crap. And they're going to walk by that store. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, let's go in there. You know, and you're right. It's probably going to happen. And again, there are going to be people that are going to be willing to pay because they say they got it there. They're gonna want a Cards HQ little bag or a sticker or whatever it may be.
it didn't go to the other page. I'm looking at the. They have a bunch of jobs on here right now.
Yeah, man. Man, if
Um,
I didn't have a job, I'd go be a breaker.
I was literally going to say, hey man, you want to go? You want to go rip some cards? Get paid for it? Look, sell us your cards. This is what I'm pretty sure I texted you about this with all the boxes you have.
Yeah.
They were looking to buy out shops and stuff like that. Um, what I'd like to know is like if you feel comfortable, Dom. Like, yeah, I've never seen you say a bad thing about anybody. But then again, I feel like Jeff's one of those guys like that either like you really like Jeff or you really don't like Jeff. There's not really an in between, and just his name elicits either a feeling of joy or a feeling of I want to punch that guy's face. Like there's like really no in between. But when it comes to YouTube, it's kind of like a perfect storm because like I bet half of the following are people that probably want to punch him in the face, but they're helping give him watch time or whatever. But um yeah, I mean, Jeff's one of those guys that's always controversial in the hobby.
But I think
But
there's a lot of people.
also, like, I will
I think
say,
yeah, I think Jabs is like that also.
yeah, I like I said,
You know.
I didn't really, I can't really say I met Jabs because I didn't really know it was Jabs. So like knowing that it was him might been a different reaction. Like for me, it was just some random guy. But
Right.
like with Jeff, he was at least like a really nice guy when I met him in person. You know what I mean? Like he gave me the time of day. Like
Yep.
he didn't care that like when I met Jeff, I think I might have had like 1,000 subscribers, maybe less, like maybe just a little over somewhere in that range. So it wasn't like this guy has a YouTube channel. I'm going to be nice to him. It was just like I was just some random dude that saw him at a card show and ran up to him to say hi. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I thought that was cool, in the sense that, he was actually a nice person in real life. And I've heard from a lot of people that, that have met him that he does seem to be a nice person in real life. But, you know,
Hey Ziggy,
each their own. Ziggy, what's up, my man?
how you
Good
doing?
to see you,
Happy
brother.
Thanksgiving to you and your family also. Yeah, I don't. I get yeah, locking. You know, you see people buying that stuff off, and you know, again, David Edwards, Adams, you know, for more than you can order from. Yeah, I don't get it. You know, it's shocking. You know, it's shocking to me. Um, but you can tell. You know. Well, like I said, Jason, when you look at SCI, when you look at PokeRev, when you look at a lot of those guys and girls that do this type of stuff, a lot of them, they are trying to monetize their viewership. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, they get people to trust them, and then and people will buy and pay more for stuff than they should because hey, I got this from PokeRev. Hey, I got this from SCI. Hey, I got this from insert whatever. I mean, hell, look at the racket. I don't really care, but people make money when they want to. Look at what Jabs does.
Yeah,
Jabs, you have to be a part of his Patreon to get into any of his breaks, but then his breaks are you pay him and he goes out and finds the boxes and then he opens the box for you.
yeah,
I mean, I mean, so you're basically he's like a private shopper. Hey, you want to open up, Topps Chrome update? Guess what? Go to my Patreon, pay X number of dollars, and then it's going to be $50 a box, and you're going to pay me that, and then I'm going to open it, and then I'm going to ship it to you. You know,
yeah.
and I might actually make fun of the crap that's opened and all this other kind of stuff. You know,
Funny thing about Steve's comment here is I was just not listing, but photographing a bunch of Prison Monopoly today, and I was literally thinking of Ziggy as I was doing it because of how much of that stuff that he got in breaks this year.
oh yeah. Well, and he was very smart the way he did it. He was very strategic because he looked at the checklist. You know, why I've just
So,
very much when he's done so much to help the hobby. His worst crime was a PPP loan. Jabs has a lot of issues compared. I mean, I don't know. Has Jeff done a lot for the hobby? I mean, what has he done for the hobby? He
I mean,
pushes
like in
market.
terms of like at card shows, like he does actually like give stuff away to kids, and
He
like he'll put
does.
together like trade events, and like so like he does actually like I will say Jeff does have a very positive impact on the hobby, but there's also been certain times where he could have had a very negative impact too, where like maybe like the 2020s where he was saying, hey, let's go get cards of whatever players that didn't pan out, you know what I mean, like
Well,
where
that
people lost money, but then who's to say that you should be buying the cards that some dude on YouTube says to buy? You know what I mean? If that were the case, everybody would have bought Isaac Okoro and wanted to kill me. You know what I
right.
mean?
No, but look, it's like any of those guys. It's easy to talk negative about him because why? Think about it, right? He pushes certain things. He talks about things, and a lot of things because he. Then I think what winds up happening is if he talks so much about one particular thing, you think he's trying to push that one particular thing to get you to buy, to get you to want, and maybe that makes whatever he has the prices go ahead and go up, right? It's I mean you know it's just one of those things. I mean, not saying that um, not saying that it's a bad thing or a good thing. It's one of those things that when you're an influencer, it's going to happen, and people are going to think if you there's probably a lot of people who look at him and say, "Man, if you weren't in the hobby, maybe the prices wouldn't be so high." If
Yeah,
Gary V never got in the hobby, maybe the prices wouldn't be so high. I think that's what people look at. I think a lot of people look at these ones that the people that had a lot of money that came in and they went ahead and I don't want to say ruin the hobby, but they influenced the hobby to go in a direction where it's more about seems the dollar and cents than it is about the actual collecting.
for sure. Um, yeah, no, I completely agree, Ziggy. He says he is an investor in several real companies, like the slab cover company, I believe Slab Strong, with Tim McHenry. Shout out to Tim. He's a real nice guy too. He's one of the guys I know from the show circuits. Um, but yeah, I mean, there are several companies that he has definitely, been a part of, whether they've been good or bad. Like I know there's been some like Dibs he's been a part of that didn't go so well or whatnot, but then others that like Slab Strong, I believe was actually even sold. Pretty sure are they under Ultra Pro now, or are they?
And
I'm trying to.
Well,
Either Ultra Pro or BCW, like
I
one
would
of
probably
those.
think BCW because BCW is the official supply company for SCI.
Okay, that makes sense then.
You know.
Yeah, I've met
Oh,
pretty much all of them. They
yeah.
they they're all very nice. Stephanie was super nice too. I met her before I even like ever heard of Mama Breaks or knew who she was. She does a lot of the Southern California card shows. So like I just went by and was like, "Hey, there's a chick set up at a card show booth." Like that doesn't happen very often.
No, Ziggy, you're right. If it wasn't Jeff, it would be somebody else. You're 100% correct. And that person would be talked about, right?
Mhm.
From that standpoint. I again, I don't really have a
Yeah.
problem with the guy because let him make his content. I will watch some of his stuff because he will open. I watched one of his videos last night because he will open up some stuff that I'm not going to open, that I'm not going to see, that I'm not going to look for, and I get the chance to see those cards. Am I going to take advice from him? No, because I don't collect or I don't collect or I don't flip in the market that he does or at the level that he does, right? He's here and I just want to keep myself on screen. Wait, let me go way back for it. And but that's what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree, Ziggy.
Oh,
Like he's done like a lot more than probably most of us will that have like either a YouTube channel or like some kind of following. You know what I mean? Like
oh,
the main point with Jeff was like that I was trying to make is like one way or another, whether like you really like Jeff and like you believe he's great for the hobby, or you think that he's like a PPP loan getting grifter, like the just people are passionate on both ends, and I feel like that really helps to drive engagement too. You
most
know,
definitely does.
which I'm sure like Jeff would probably rather see it happen another way because I'm sure like mentally like it's probably a lot to put up with like people doing memes about you or just constantly like saying whatever, you know what I mean? But by the same point, you're a public figure, you know what I mean? So when you're a public figure, people are allowed to have opinions about you.
Well, and you think about it, you know, I don't know how true it is, but people say, any kind of advertising is good advertising, whether it's a bad or a bad. So I mean, you get spoken about a lot by a lot of other people. It's going to draw people to you to
Mhm.
see why people, feel the way they do. And then people will make up, their own mind from that standpoint. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with him one way or the other. And again, because you know, I you know, I'm not going to buy a market movers. I'm not going to pay, the monthly subscription fee or whatever it is, all those types of things, that's the thing, Diggy, you said, okay, hey, if he's so great and he's done all these tools, you really want to be great, make him free. Don't put
Yeah.
him behind a paywall. You
Didn't
want to
he?
grow
Doesn't
the
he have a
hobby?
free? Doesn't he have a light version now that's free?
Yeah, but what do I mean, what do you get?
I mean, honestly, I stopped collecting cards that were even worth looking up in like once. So honestly, like I haven't actually had an active like market movers, card hedger, card ladder, like any of those type services in a long time.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
I'm
that's
being
what
really transparent.
no, that's all I'm saying. I agree. The stuff that he's done is great, but it's funny. You go to a card show, just if you go to a card show and you have the card in your hand, if I go to a card show, right? And and, and I have this Steph Curry card, and the guy behind the table wants to buy this card from me. What's he going to get a comp?
Most likely eBay.
He ain't
Or
going
even
market
like
movers.
I've seen a lot of people using alt lately because alt will actually bring up different like if it's golden, if it's eBay, if it's
Yeah.
PWCC, but then it'll
Yeah.
also like if a best offer was accepted, it tells you what the price is right there too. Shout out to Mark from the Pittsburgh Card Show for putting me up on that little bitty right there.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? So I mean, as much as it is, you know, it's again, I think well again when you're looking at it, it's a different type of thing. Look at what his name is. It's
Yeah,
not SCC. It's not sports card collector.
yeah,
It's sports card investor.
yeah.
That's what it is geared around. It's, that's his MO. He doesn't say, hello, sports card collectors. He says, hello, sports card investors. So,
That
Steve, you
sounds
get it
like
at both.
a
So you get it at both
very
ends, Steve.
good one.
You know what I'm saying, right? So,
Yeah.
and so take it for what it's worth. Whoever it is that you watch, you listen to, whatever it may be, just
Mhm.
take it for what it's worth. You
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
So I don't, Dom. I can't. You know, again, I said it once, I say it 1,000 times, and I have said this even before the sports card stuff, even when Anthony and I were in our previous, reselling world where we were dealing with those people and everything, and it was, the big time resellers, they do the exact same thing. They get on and they want you to buy from them, and you see all the different things, you see their merch. Oh, I want to get a
Um,
hat, a coffee mug, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a
but most
sticker.
importantly, Michael, if you really want to be a reseller on eBay, you need to
Yes.
join my course and I'll teach you how to do it. Even though
Right.
literally all you need to do is pick any item that you have and list it on eBay. It's literally that simple. You just list any item and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sells.
Yeah. But so are we really investors or more collectors? To me, I, I'm not an investor because I don't think I have. I am not holding on to a card or cards thinking I'm going to pass these along to Mike, who's going to be able to, or pass more. I have three of something. I'm going to pass one each one of my kids, and one day in the near future, they're going to be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
To me, I collect. I like cards of certain players, and that's the way it is. I am a flipper. I flip sports cards to buy more sports cards. I'm not, again, I'm not storing them away in a vault and expecting them, to be worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars, one day to be able to, retire, buy a car, buy a house, buy a boat, buy a fill in the blank.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say I fall under that category as well. More of a collector. Like I brought up my next gem just to kind of show off this Walt Disney card. And just for this is probably the closest thing to an investment card I have. Like it's only a six, but a nine of this just sold for a record sale of $40,000. So it's probably one of the bigger cards I own. But I don't look at this as an investment. I look at this as when I die, it's going to my kids and they can sell it for whatever the investment is. You know what I mean? Like for my lifetime, I want to have this card. You know what I mean? Other than that, it's an investment towards like I guess my kids' future one day whenever I have them. You know what I mean? Or if I don't, then it'll get buried with me. So that's our rule. I like my cards that much.
What is next gem? A question was. Oh, Daz. Yeah. Oh, man. Dom was heavy into Daz.
Yeah.
But don't worry, man. All he has to do is, all he has to do is make it, and you're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that, with
With
KD's
KD,
going to be one
sure.
of those generational players. You know what I mean? Like outside of LeBron, he's like probably the second best player of this generation. Well, maybe Curry. So, but then again, you're a KD guy, so you probably rank him a little bit differently. But yeah, I mean, he's somebody that I think should be reasonably safe long term, especially because he's in like the mid 2000s where it wasn't like 90s print runs or like today's print runs. So it's a little bit lower.
Yeah. Yeah. But Jason, Next Gem. Next Gem is a basically a card trading application. We had them on the show.
Yep.
We
I'll
had
pull it back
Scott.
up.
We had Scott on the show. But you basically it's free to list your cards there, and
Yep.
you can sell them. You can make deals with people. You could trade, sell.
Yep.
Um, a lot of people, you know, use it basically to carry their. It's kind of like carrying your collection in your pocket when you go somewhere, uh, and then you know just showing somebody, hey, check out this Ric Flair that I have, or so on and so forth. From that standpoint, so it's a way to have a nice, and it's a way to have your collection with you, basically, so you can do stuff with it.
Correct. And this is basically just my next gem. Basically, you have your cards, you price them, you can say they're for trade, they're not for trade. I use it a lot, so I don't have to keep opening my briefcase when I go to card shows. I have made a sell on here. You know what I mean? So like there are people that will buy. It obviously like it's not going to be like as liquid as like an eBay, but it's a brand new program. They're just now allowing people to start selling on there.
Yep.
So a lot of that stuff is still like being developed, but I love it. Like I look at my cards like almost every day in here. Like my like better slabs, like the Walt Disney style slabs I used to have in a shoebox right next to my bed. And like now it's like I just grab my tablet, look through my next gem. I used to always look through my good cards every night before bed because I'm a degenerate like that. And I just grab next gem and I just scroll on through and I can look at my cards anytime I want. And then if I want to actually hold the card, then I just go grab my Zion case and pull it out. But nice thing is I don't have to actually be bothered to like move, which is kind of nice. So I can look through my cards anytime. I can look through other people's stuff. I can send offers or whatnot. So it's pretty cool. I like it because all of these cards are cards I literally have in a Zion case. None of them are like vaulted or anything like that. So
Right.
it's like I can still show them off like you could in a vault, but I can still like have them to do whatever I want with. Like there'll be plenty of times, like say this LeBron sells, I'll just go delete it, and then all the time next gem is normally my current graded inventory. You know what I mean? I haven't gone as far as putting like raw cards on there just because I have like 5,000 raw cards for my eBay store right now. So it's like that's a lot, but I figure I can at least manage to keep my graded ones in there so I don't have to keep pulling out my box and having everybody look through it. They can just take a quick glance through my next gem, and if there's something they want, they can be like, yeah, go get that Evan Mobley PSA 8. I want to take a better look at that or whatever. It's like that simple. So,
Very
yeah, it's a
nice.
cool little app. I'll see if I can grab a link to the show that we did with Scott from Next Gem. So it was a pretty good interview. If you guys haven't had a chance to see it. So do you have anything fun coming up on your channel this week, Michael?
In about 20 minutes, I'll be live on my channel doing Rip and Chip.
What? 20 minutes, guys. Make sure you
In about
guys are
20 minutes or so.
not only subscribe for the Rip and Ship, but also you subscribe for next week's episode. Do we have a guest planned for next week yet?
We're to figure out next week. So you and I got to talk over the next couple of days, figure out next week.
Okay.
Because I may be on the road
On the road
Wednesday.
again.
So
Okay.
I may ask Mike what his work schedule is, and maybe you have a Mike Gentili rather than a Michael Gentili next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say sorry. I only work with Mike Gentilis, but I guess that works. So
Thank
in
you,
the
Don.
chat, guys, is the Next Gem live stream that we did with Scott Wright, who's the co-founder of the company.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out, he answers basically anything that you would want to know about the platform in that stream. really
So
informative
again,
for you.
hey, if you didn't hear, don't forget, December 17th, Sunday, 5 p.m. It's the Ho 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 Holiday Card Auction Card Sale giveaways. Yeah, boys. Collect and profit. We're gonna be live on Anthony's channel.
Yeah,
Selling
make sure you
every,
come on out.
all sports. We're gonna have baseball, football, basketball, hockey, wrestling, TCG. Who knows? We may throw Star Wars up there and Garbage Pail Kids. We'll have our boxes ready, so we'll be taking requests.
Yep,
So hey, um if you if you want the broadcast is already set up. So if you can go there, you can probably leave a comment or so of hey, what you're looking for. And this way we can, have a lot of that stuff ready for you. You know?
absolutely. Should be a really good time. I know both of us have a lot of cards that theoretically could be in the auction. Because I have like 5,000 plus just raw cards. Plus, every single graded card I have will be available that day as well. I'd imagine we'll probably start off team lots, do kind of cheaper auctions, and then from there we'll probably do some slab sales as well. I'll probably do some dollar starts if I have any more of my cards I've been running dollar auctions slab wise on eBay.
Yeah.
Come then as well.
Yeah, I've been looking through some stuff and everything, putting some stuff on the side, seeing what I might, throw up there. A LeBron Goodwin or to 75 Hank Aaron Red.
Nice.
This one won't be going up. I found this one. That's Joe Klecko's rookie card. Ooh-ah.
Nice.
Charlotte Flair. Malkin rookie. Yeah, Malkin rookie might be tough.
I don't know if I
Charlotte
have a
Flair's.
Malkin rookie. I definitely have a
Charlotte.
ton of Charlotte.
I was gonna
Actually, I don't
say,
know.
yeah,
He bought most of
Charlotte
my
Flair's.
Charlotte.
I got some raw Charlotte Flares. That was bad to say right there. That
Oh,
was
you know
bad.
what I?
That's a bad one right there. Beep! Where's that 7-second delay? Damn it.
I might have a couple raw ones. You got most of mine in that package that got lost in the mail, Sean. But I would imagine. I think I have a couple new ones since then that I might have just listed recently. I just listed a ton of WWE over the last couple days. Plus, I have a matte relic of her still too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through my
I know that was a sad day, Sean.
start going through the wrestling. But you never know. I mean, you might see maybe one of those might go up there. It's possible.
Speaking of cards and trading and stuff, did I tell you I had an update from last week's episode when we were talking with Raymond from Veriswap? I got
Go
on
ahead.
the website after the show and was playing around, and for like all of like 3 hours, I was the proud owner of an '86 Flair Michael Jordan. So like
How?
this is basically I traded like some cash and like 20 slabs for
Yeah.
the Jordan, and then the guy backed out on me. So I no longer own the Michael Jordan. But for like
Oh,
three
wow.
hours, I owned an '86 Flair Michael Jordan.
Dang.
So, but that was kind of cool that like I was able to kind of work my way up to a cash and trade deal for that. Whereas like that's always a card I just thought was like out of my realm. Now,
Yeah.
granted, it was like a lower graded one. It wasn't like a 10, 9, 8 even, but you know what I mean? It was still cool that for a brief period of time I owned that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's good, the sale. I mean, and who knows, man? Maybe we see how it goes, and bring it back, try again, see what we got, see how see what people are looking for, see what people want. Like I said, if people have any ideas, drop them in. drop, go to the video, drop them in there, or or message us on IG. Say, hey, I'm gonna want this player, this team, whatever it may be, these years, those years. Like I said, I got, I have a bunch of older stuff. I got. It was pretty. I was looking through a box, again that I got, for my buddy and everything, and it's amazing. Here's one. It's an Upper Deck Baseball Special Report Global Impact, like Ivan Rodriguez. I was like, damn,
Oh, nice.
that's a pretty cool card. So it's stuff like that is I have sitting around. And
For
no,
sure.
before anybody asks, the Derek Jeter won't be on the show. The Shohei Ohtani won't be on the show. Well, not the one from last week. Little mini chrome gold.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, it should make for a good show. So you're about to go live here in about 4 minutes, guys. Make sure you are.
15, I'm gonna have to go take a biological break.
So he's gonna go take 2, guys.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I'll probably be on in like 15 minutes.
Nice. So make sure you guys are following him over at Huddle Card Collection, live ripping chips, about 15 minutes.
Yeah. So hey, Jason, but this is what you do, man. Anthony and I are doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever found time and stuff like that, the 3 of us do one. The 3 of us can go ahead and do one. Sean just did one. He did it with him, Mike ripping for rookies, and Matty Ice cards. So and they were on. You go on the bigger channel to get the bigger thing. So you don't have to do it alone. That's the great part.
Yeah.
You do it with a couple of different people and stuff like that, and it keeps it fresh. It's moving along. You do like a 10-minute window. Each guy gets about 10 minutes. This way, also, if somebody's doing, I got about 20 minutes before I have to go again. You can collect your cards. You go get a drink of water, get something to eat, and so on and so forth. So that's the way. That's actually, the way to do it. Doing it by yourself is tough because you have to be able to sit there and like, okay, here we go. Wow, from that standpoint. So
yeah, definitely.
But
any of you guys that are interested in coming on to one of those, just reach out to me or Mike.
Yeah.
I would imagine he's probably the more organized of the 2 of us, but we can either probably take care of you. But yeah, anything else you wanted to mention before we wrap up the episode?
No, man, just happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope if you're able to, just chill, relax, have some fun with your family, eat some food, get a belly full, and just have unplug and have a good day with your family and your friends, and whatever that is, doing whatever it is you want to do. If it's watching football, if it's not watching football, if it's watching Hallmark Christmas movies, do whatever it is you want to do, and just chill and relax. And and thank you all for the continued support of our show and our channels.
Yes, definitely. I couldn't have said that any better. Guys, I definitely appreciate y'all. Again, please make sure you go check out Michael's channel. We will be there next week, back to 10 p.m. Is that right, Michael?
I would say so.
Okay. Most likely back to regular time next week. But yeah, guys, we appreciate you. And if you have any ideas of guys you'd want to see, guys or girls, I should say, you'd want to see us bring on for guests on the channel, for the podcast, leave that down in the comments section. If you would like to come on and talk about your love of cards, collecting, eBay, basically anything. And we've had guys on here talking about wrestling and game shows before, you know what I mean? So would love to hear from you too. Because again, this is an interactive podcast and we love hearing your guys' voice each and every week.
Yep.
Until next week, God bless, guys. Take it easy.
You guys